Hello and welcome. This is the session which I think will add the most important aspect to your model, that is realism. Materials, what we saw in the last session, gave us the color and some attributes like shininess and transparency and all that. But when it comes to realism, we want the objects look like real. For example, a table should look like it is made up of wood and not like a painted plastic kind of looking table. This is the exact objective of applying texture. We will see one particular aspect of applying texture which is called image as texture, in which we can select a particular image, and like I gave an example earlier of covering your notebooks with brown paper, that is exactly what we are now going to do with this texture application. Textures are like additional layers on top of the base material, and the base material can be anything for that matter. Remember that the diffuse or the color you select in the material will get replaced in this situation when we apply image as texture, but the rest of the properties would be carry forwarded from material. Another important aspect to note here is that textures can be applied only after materials are applied. So, do not try to jump into textures directly, even if you like to have a wooden table. Apply at least some basic material to it and only then you can go for textures. This will add lot of detailing. In fact, textures are used so nicely by modelers. For example, you want to make an entire city at times, the requirement is that you have to show a complete city, and it is not possible to model each and every window and window shade coming out and all that on a wall. So, there are most of the times we see a cheating happening there, where there are just boxes, but the textures have those windows and the detailings of the pipes and everything as a texture being applied as an image, but you can't even make out because the lights will react accordingly. You can see the shades and it will also substitute some, why some? Actually it substitutes lot of 3D modeling which is otherwise very painstaking effort. So, this is a very useful tool to learn, and we will see some nitty-gritties of it in this session. So, let us just go to Blender and ask Nitin to help us out in getting the texture right. By the way, we are using the model of the table which we had left at the point where we learnt how to extrude and make a table. I am sure you all have that file. Just open that file and we are now going to apply texture. Like I said, we cannot apply texture unless until we have some basic material applied to it. So, let us first of all go to the materials tab and apply one basic material for any color. Just press new and you will get the diffuse tab here. Select the color palette and you can put any color for that matter. Let us keep it yellow. Now, once this is done, we have to now go to the texture module. This is the just next tab to the material section, and you will see a checkered board here. This is the tab for texture. If you click on that, you will see a different panel now. First of all, you can notice that there are some blank checkerboards on the left hand side which are actually slots, like similar to what material slots we had, there are similar slots, and there is also the same new button available here. If you click on that, you can see that the top in the slots has changed to something called texture and it shows black right now. Actually that black is nothing but blank. So, no texture is currently applied here, but important point is that a tick mark is placed in the right hand side. Remember to see if the tick mark is present to the texture which is selected, because when you apply it has to be tick marked, only then it will show up when you render the file. Okay. Going ahead, we have to select the particular type of texture. There are various types of textures, and if you click on that type button, there is a big pop-up which comes out, and out of the rest of the things we are just going to select something called image or movie. Now we are not going into the movie part right now, by the way, we are only going with the image. So we have to select the image. The box below that shows the preview, but obviously right now we have not selected any image, so it will not show anything there, but we have to select it from the drop down or the tab which is available just below that. You can see a tab called image there, and within that there are 3 buttons. The rightmost button shows open, and it shows a small little window of small little icon of browser. If you click that, it will open the browser. You will get a file titled wood.jpg in the downloads option where you have the slides button. Please save that file in a separate folder called texture in wherever you are saving your table blend files, so that you can easily associate the textures used for the table in one folder. Like we have created a folder here called texture within the Blender table, and inside that texture you can find this file called wood.jpg. Select this file and click on open image. Once you click that, you can see that in preview you get the pattern created by this texture. Do not worry about this right now because we are doing a very primitive application of texture. Later on we will talk about how to modify it further, but you have basically done your part right now. If you click on the tab of material just beside the texture, you can see how this is applied to a sphere. So this checkered pattern will go off as a texture, and now you can see how will it be applied. Not only that, it will also show you how the specularity or the shininess is getting reflected for this particular texture which you have selected. We have done our bit now. Just press F12 to see the rendered image, because textures which are applied cannot be seen when you are in the 3D viewports. You cannot see the textures applied. So just adjust the camera appropriately, and now once you have the table fully in picture, just press F12 and see the rendered image. I think we have a very nice mahogany table ready here. You can experiment with this by trying to check out various wood textures you want to have. However, please remember that textures or any images for that matter which are taken from the internet are subject to some kind of copyright of somebody. So please select a appropriate file which does not have copyright, especially for educational purposes like what we are using. Please read the guidelines in the slide which we have provided for this particular lecture. The end slide will have some information about how you can select a copyright free image. Use this and remember this always in future, whether you do Blender or not. You can remember this part because this is very important and a sensitive part of using images with appropriate copyrights. After you render the image, you would be saving this file. File save is an option you will use. But remember, here is an important tip. Just by saving the file, it will not take up all the associated files which are used in making of this model. I mean that the texture which was applied for the wooden finish here is still not a part of it. For that, you have to go to File and select on External Data option at the bottom and click on the pop-up which comes after that and select Pack All into .blend option. After you click on Pack All into .blend, the file will have all the associated external files used in this particular model. So the texture file which was that wood.jpg, even though it is now on your desktop, a copy of that is made into the table.blend file also. So if you ship this table.blend to somebody else, it will also carry the texture file along with it. This is a standard problem we have faced. A lot of people create models and then they send it to us for refining or some additional inputs, but we can't see the textures they have applied because they have not packed the file. So remember this part, that whenever you are done with your file with texturing, please use this option of external data and packing the file. After that, you can use regular file save to save the file as many times you are working on that. But if you add a new file, again remember to use this option. So I think with this we are done for the week, and we will see you next week. In between we will have a small little wrap up video, please watch that. So thank you.